In the opinion of most of the AI experts in the field, unlike the general AI, the true business value lies in agentic AI. We are at a point where large language models are proficient, yet without agents, they always operate in zero-shot mode, not fully utilizing their capabilities. But with agents, the same LLM can iterate over tasks, fine-tune results, utilize additional tools, and make smarter decisions, maximizing the potential of LLMs. All these because agents are systems that can perceive their environment, reason about it, and take actions to achieve a specific goal. Standalone LLMs lack agency because their outputs are constrained by the training data. And this is exactly where agentic workflows come into play. Agents can break down complex tasks into manageable steps, leverage external tools and data sources, and continuously refine their strategies through iterative feedback and learning. But building agents from scratch is hard, complex, and resource-intensive. Introducing you to Dify, a platform that I have started using recently and really impressed by what it's doing for me. In a single sentence, it's a comprehensive platform for developing LLM solutions. It allows you to customize the entire AI workflow, RAG pipeline, agent capabilities, model management, and much more. All these allow you to quickly move from prototype to full-scale production and build complex LLM agents by just dragging and dropping.
Everyone's on the LLM hype train, but when you actually start building LLM apps, you find that it's not as easy as it seems. Leading developers choose Dify, an open-source platform built for production-ready AI apps. A user-friendly interface makes it easy for everyone. RAG Engine lets you import private data. Connect different tools. Whether you're validating an idea or building robust enterprise-grade AI solutions, Dify helps you do it faster and easier. Choose any LLMs you want, embedding, re-rank, and multimodal models. You can create an agent and launch it as a public website or develop it using APIs in just a few minutes. And the best part is, you can create AI workflows to handle more complex tasks, generating reliable outcomes. Soon, you'll even be able to call agents and workflows as tools in another workflow.
Well, sir.
You can debug and publish your workflow, view logs at every step, port it to a DSL, and share it within your team or the Dify community, including thousands of developers from individuals to Fortune 500s.
Say my name.
Dify, do it for you.
Bring your ideas to life within matter of minutes, literally. And note, Dify is not just about LLM agents. It provides a complete AI workflow orchestration. It's a prompt ID, that is, you can design, test, and refine advanced prompts to empower your AI applications with precision. Dify also has a scalable backend APIs, so you can integrate AI seamlessly into your products, leveraging Dify's robust backend solutions. And Dify is now well integrated with quite a few important tools in the ecosystem. So it is integrated with DeepSeek V2, Lepton AI, Azure, OpenAI, then X-Inference, and quite a few other tools indeed. Now, one important thing to note is that Dify is an open source tool. So you can see in the GitHub repository, the entire code is available for you to access, and it has got a huge number of stars of 33.5K. And also the web version is available for you to do everything in the cloud. So what all this basically means is that you can install Dify in your local machine and run it completely locally. Or you can use Dify web tool and run your entire workflow in the cloud with Dify. And they have fantastic documentation. You can just get started with Dify on your local machine by following through the documentation. And they have a Docker to help you with that. And it's super easy to do so actually. Make sure you just follow through with the command lines that they have basically updated on their documentation site. And you are going to be able to install these within seconds actually. And one important thing to keep in mind is that you need to have a CPU that is greater than 2 cores and you should have more than 4 GB of RAM. It is like the most absolute minimal requirement, and obviously this is the requirement that almost all computers you have today in today's world. So this should be sufficient for you to have operational Dify on your local computer. But if you do not have the requirements to fulfill that, then you can definitely have it hosted on the cloud, which is super simple again. And to get you started on the cloud, what you want to do is just simply click on the Get Started button. Once you have done that, create an account with GitHub or with Google. And once you are signed in, you will be sent over to the dashboard. You can see that this dashboard is actually will have all the requirement for you to get started. And to get you started, you just need to click on these Get Started button right here. And as soon as you click on these, you will be allowed to sign in with your GitHub or with your Google account. And once signed in, you will be landing on these dashboard. And here you can see this is a studio dashboard, right? This is the default. And from here, you can start your various workflows. And also you have knowledge dashboard, you have tools dashboard. And in the tools, actually, you have all the third-party tools which you can integrate with your Dify workflows. For example, Google, Stable Diffusion, PubMed, YouTube, Code Interpreter, and plenty of them actually. So go back to the studio. This is the starting point for most of your workflows, because here you will be starting building the nodes of Dify. That is, you just click on create from blank or create from template and start with your building process. And also I wanted to show you the most important page when using any tools. So this is the pricing plans of Dify, and it's actually very informative. They have a monthly and yearly. So let's look at the yearly. All right. So of course, under the sandbox, they have a free scheme, which is absolutely free, and you can pretty much test everything and use the GPT 3.5 model within the free scheme indeed. But it has got some limitation, obviously. For example, maximum 200 messages, then vector storage of 5 MB, document upload quota of 50, and logs history of 15 days. Otherwise, you can go for the professional and team, which is obviously for production grade application. You want to go for any of these, and the limits are much higher. For example, 5,000 messages per month, vector storage of 200 DB under the professional, and documents bulk supported. Yes, document processing priority, message request unlimited, annotation quota limit 2000. Yeah, so overall the pricing looks pretty reasonable indeed. So basically with the yearly plan, I am getting 2 months of free, because the monthly gives me $59 per month, and yearly you get $590. That is, you pay for 10 months for a full 12 months of subscription. And another thing I wanted to point out is their really exhaustive documentation. They have very good documentation indeed. So right now I'm looking at their documentation page using Dify Cloud. Dify offers cloud service for everyone, so you can use the full functionality of Dify without deploying it yourself. Explore the flexible plans and pricing. Get started, sandbox, etc. Let's look at the FAQ, because this is a common question. How is my data handled and stored when using Dify Cloud? So when you use Dify Cloud, your user data is securely stored on AWS servers located in the US East region. This includes both the data you actively input and any generated data from your applications. We prioritize your data's security and integrity, ensuring that it is managed with the highest standards of cloud storage. All right, what measures are in place to protect my API keys and other sensitive information? At Dify, we understand the importance of protecting your API keys, etc., etc. How applications data is anonymized in Dify Cloud. In Dify Cloud, we anonymize application data to ensure privacy and reduce encryption and decryption overheads. This means that the data used by the applications is not directly associated with identifiable user accounts. By anonymizing the data, we enhance privacy while maintaining the performance of the cloud service. And they have various segments within their documentation, so you can just navigate through these. For example, under the features, you have prompt, export mode, workflow, RAG, knowledge import, external data tool, annotation, reply, plugins, etc. There's so many features indeed. And also, they have a blog section in their website. So this is where I am at currently. And as you can see, there's so many subjects covered on various use cases of Dify. How to run open source model, Gemma on Dify, workflow, major updates, Dify rolls out new architecture, enhancing flexibility, scalability, your guide to building AI, travel consultant, model runtime restructure. Yeah, and one particularly interesting blog post that I found in Dify is comparing Dify versus LangChain. So obviously, while LangChain is great, but this comparison gives some useful information about their comparison indeed. So you can think of libraries like LangChain as toolboxes with hammers, nails, etc. In comparison, Dify provides a more production-ready, complete solution. Think of Dify as a scaffolding system with refined engineering design and software testing. And Dify is designed to be intuitive and simple to use at its core, allowing you to build powerful LLM applications without unnecessary complexity. And Dify has features like backend as a service, retrieval augmented generation, extensive APIs, etc. Yeah, anyway, so if you're thinking seriously about using Dify, definitely go through some of these blogs to get a better idea. And also in the blog, there are some examples of implementing Dify for various use cases. For example, here, creating GPTs and assistants with various LLMs, then unleashing the AI in finance, building an AI investment analysis assistant with Dify. Please go through them. And also remember these applications that you currently see, for example, building an AI investment analysis assistant with Dify, they can be built pretty much within half an hour. Because the fundamental concept and architecture of Dify is that you arrange nodes and bring the agents and connect the nodes. So once you get used to these Dify workflow, these kind of applications you can build in half an hour to 45 minutes max. That's the magic of it. All right, now we will see the steps for self-hosting Docker. So I am right in the documentation page, and as you can see that there's different ways to install it. So I have local source code start or Docker Compose deployment, and this is relatively the easier one. You have a Docker image, and running it is the simplest one. And in the prerequisite, you can run it in macOS, Linux, or Windows. And the steps are super simple. All you have to do is first git clone these open source Docker repository into your local machine, and then just move into the particular directory which is within Dify and then within the Docker, and then just launch your Docker. And of course, before running this command, if you're using the Docker desktop in Linux or in Windows, you have to launch it before running this command. And that's it. After these, your Docker will be ready, and you will see that these commands are there in your terminal. And you can also check that all the Dockers are running successfully by running this particular command, and that will show you this kind of output where it will show you all the services and commands that are running with Docker. And then you can directly go to the actual running server. But of course, before these are some extra commands just in case you need to upgrade your existing repositories, etc. So they are not related with the actual launching steps. This is just an extra information. So as soon as you run these final command, that is this command, then directly you can go to this URL. Let's go there. Yep. As soon as you go, you will be asked to log in, and there you are. Your Dify right now is running locally in your machine, and everything is just the same. You can see all the modules right here, and you can start working on this right now. And you will see all the functionalities here. So if you go to explore, you will see all the ready-made templates, everything that you see in the web version. And if you go to your knowledge, that's where you can keep your knowledge base. And tools, here you can integrate all the different tools. For example, if you want to integrate Google search or Bing search, or if you want to integrate Wolfram Alpha, anything. I mean, there are so many of them, everything that is available in the web. And actually, the self-hosting version will give you more flexibility in some cases. For example, they provide several VectorDB option in the self-hosting strategy, which is not there in the web version yet. All right, now I'm just going to create an app for code conversion, for example, from JavaScript to Python, from TypeScript to JavaScript, and so on. So let's go to Studio and create from blank. And as usual, we get different options here. And again, just to quickly know what is these different chatbot, text generator, agent, and workflow is. So let's quickly go to the documentation under the introduction section. So yeah, here it's workflow. So workflow reduces system complexity by breaking complex tasks into smaller steps and nodes, reducing dependency on prompt, word technology, and model inference capability. And the workflows are divided into two types based on application scenario: chat flow and workflow. So workflow is suitable for automation and batch processing scenarios, suitable for high quality translation, data analysis, content creation, email automation. All right, so I am going to choose workflow from here. And then let's give it a name. For example, convert my code. And description, whatever is suitable for you. In this case, I'm just going to put this and create. Fantastic. Now, yeah, so I got all the regular screen that I'm supposed to get here. First thing is start. And to start, you first need a language, and you can choose from here. And remember again that this whole thing currently is not running in the cloud. It's happening, everything is happening locally in my machine. That is just awesome. So let's just add an LLM here. All right. And also before proceeding further, I have to select and define my input field. So you just click on start, come to this input field, click on this plus icon, and you get this. So variable name here. Let's target language code. And label name because I am working on programming language. So programming language. Max length, let's increase it. Let's increase it to 128. Save. Oops, I forgot one thing. I forgot to add all the options for the programming language. So just click here again, and you will see your defined input field. Click on the edit. And let's get to select. Yeah, so variable name and label name is already there. Now for the option, let's add, first one is obviously Python, and another. All right, I added quite a few languages here, and I think I'm just going to stop here for now and then save it. All right, so that was one input variable added to the start node, and I just want to add another input variable for giving the system prompt and code, etc. So you just keep this node selected and click on these little plus icon over here. And this time I'm going to need this paragraph option because it's a system prompt, so it will be much more than a single line, and also it will contain all the input code, etc. And that's why I'm selecting paragraph. So the variable name, let's say input code, and label name also just keep it at input. Max length, I just want to delete this completely because I don't know how many lines it will have. All right, save. And next, I want to configure the language model that I'm selecting. So here GPT 3.5 has been selected by default, and I'm keeping it at that. And the next one is I want to configure the system prompt here. So you can put your entire system prompt right here. And just to go back to the basics, what is a system prompt? So a system prompt in a large language model like GPT-4, etc. is a set of instruction or context provided to the model to define the behavior, style, and scope of its responses. So the system prompt essentially acts as a guiding framework that informs the model how to interpret inputs and generate outputs according to specific requirements. That is, a system prompt will set the stage for the interaction between the user and the model, shaping the model's responses to be aligned with the desired outcome. And some of the key aspects of system prompt include things like behavior specification, that is instructions on how the model should behave or respond. This can include the tone, formality, and the style of the response. Also a definition of the task, that is a clear definition of the task the model needs to perform. This can be anything from answering questions, translating languages, generating code, or creating text based on certain criteria. And also sometimes you may give an example. So providing examples of inputs and the expected output to help the model understand the task better and generate more accurate responses. And also you may add constraints and guidelines, that is specific rules or constraints that the model should follow, such as avoiding certain topic, maintaining a specific structure, or adhering to ethical guidelines. So let's give my system prompt here. I already wrote my system prompt. I'm just copying it from there to right here. So you can see, let's expand this window. Yep. So you are an advanced AI model specialized in programming language translation. Your task is to convert code written in one programming language to another programming language while maintaining the same functionality and logic. Follow this instruction carefully. Input a code snippet or program written in a source programming language. Output the equivalent code snippet or program translated to the target programming language. And blah blah blah. I have given a good amount of instruction, and also here's the important part, the example. So source language Python, and here is a factorial code example, and then target language JavaScript. This should be the output. And lastly, I'm telling it, make sure to follow these guidelines for every conversion task. And another quick thing I want to point out is the output from these LLM that you can find right here. Output variables. So that's of type string, and it's a text. So that's exactly what is coming out from these LLM. All right. And the last thing you need is an end node. So just click here and select end. All right. And here, by default, it will set the output variables. So just click here, variable name. It is going to be output. And set variable. We already saw that our output from the LLM is a text, so just select that. Yep. Yeah, we are all ready. All right, now it's time to test. So what I'm going to do is to just run it here. Yep. And the first thing I want to check is whether it can convert a JavaScript method to check if a string is a palindrome to a Python method. So programming language, you click, and here you will see all the target programming language that we already set while configuring these input here. So my target language is going to be Python. That's what my output I want. And for the input, I have copied existing code in JavaScript from my local machine, which checks if a particular string is a palindrome or not. So this is the JavaScript method. It's a very standard, regular method, and a very popular interview question indeed. So I'm just pasting it and then start run. All right, before proceeding, I just want to point out one quick thing that I forgot to mention earlier. So in my system prompt, so you can look at your system prompt anytime by just clicking on the LLM and then looking at here. So in my system prompt, you have to actually mention the variable name, otherwise it will not be complete. So you have to mention something like this: please translate the following code snippet to a target language code, because we in my original start node in the target language, if you click here, we defined this target language code, right? So variable name, target language code, right? So that's why in your system prompt, let's come back to my system prompt. That's why in your system prompt, you have to mention this particular thing. Please translate the following code snippet to that particular target language code that we named the variable as. And how do you get this? You just click here, and then you get all the variable names that you have earlier defined in the start node. So you just select it from here. Okay. All right, now coming back to the testing part, I have already given the input code is palindrome, which is in JavaScript, and I want the programming language, that is a target programming language, to be Python. Just click on Start Run. And look at this beauty. Immediately, within a second, I got the result of that particular method converted in Python code. And you can check out the details in the details tab here, which says it took 443 tokens, status success, elapsed time 1.448 second. Tracing, you can check out some more things here. Start, then LLM, and also the end. Yeah, these are just for your checking out. So yeah, that's how it works really. And remember also another thing, that in the LLM, you have the option of setting some configuration. So when you click on the LLM, by default it was selecting GPT 3.5 Turbo, and then by clicking here you can set the temperature here to control how much of creative randomness you want in your output. You can select the top P by switching on this one. And I mean, everything already has a default value which should work for most plain vanilla type of orgs, but you have the complete granular control to select according to your need. All right, with that one, this particular workflow is completed, and actually you can publish it here by just clicking here and publish. Yep, now it is published. All right, so that's one workflow. Now I'm moving on. And actually, if you want to see the published app, just run app, and there you are. So here you can, it is your published app actually. You can select any of these as your target language and give your input here and execute, and your code will be ready, transformed into the target language. Let's see a quick example. I'm again selecting the target as Python and putting another version of the isPalindrome function, which is in JavaScript, and execute. Yeah, there you go. So different nodes got executed in the workflow process, and this is your result, the final transformed code in Python. All right, moving on. The next workflow I'm going to do is for SQL query. So I'm back at my home screen of the studio and create from blank. And I'm in workflow, give a name to the app. All right, SQL query. And remember, right now I am no more in the local machine. I am currently using the Dify in the web so that you can see both of the workflow create. And here the plan is that I will have a list of databases, and also the user will have option to submit a prompt. So let's start. So just like the previous workflow, you start with the start node, and then input field, you just click on this plus icon here, and yeah, the select option here. The select option will be type, which will mean that is the database type. Then label name, let's give it DB type. An option, just like our previous example, you can add different databases names. So SQL, then maybe MongoDB, and then just save it. And we also need the input variables. So let's again create another input field, and this time in the paragraph. And input max length. Again, I do not want a max length here because it may be multiple lines. Next, I need to add the LLM. By default, GPT 3.5 Turbo is chosen, and then just like the previous one, I need to set the system prompt here. So here is my system prompt. You are an advanced SQL generator designed to assist users in translating their natural language query requirements into properly structured database query statements of the target database. And note again, here I have selected the type because we defined the type right here in the start node. And you can select these variables by clicking on this icon over here. All right, then the statement continues, that is the system prompt continues. Your role is to take users input, which will consist of a description of the data they wish to retrieve along with the name of the target database and generate a complete syntactically correct database query that fulfills their requirements. And then I have to add an end node. So select end and check out the output variable here. So the output variable will be output, and the set variable will be this text one, that is, which is coming out from the LLM node. All right, with that, you are all set to make your query. So just run this app, and so what I'm going to do is I am going to put a request in a human readable textual format to create a table for an employee of a company. And the database type that I want the query to be made by this workflow is PostgreSQL. And here is my input. That is a prompt. So my prompt says that I need to create an employee table in PostgreSQL database to store information about our company's employees. The table should have the following columns: a unique identifier for each employee that automatically increments with each new entry. Then the employee's first name, last name, the employee's email address, an optional column for employee phone numbers, the date the employee was hired, the employee's job title and department, the employee's salary, an optional column to store the employee's manager's ID, etc. Okay. Please generate okay, that would be Postgres. Okay, I don't even need this line because they should the generator, that is LLM, should understand it. I will just prompt it and see what happens. And there you go, perfect. So it used a create table employee and took all the field names, that is employee ID, first name, last name, email, and also included the correct types here: virture, then hire date is a date format, then job title is again virture, a manager ID is integer, salary is numeric. Perfect. And also gives a very short explanation. The query will create table named employees with the specified columns. The serial date type of the employee ID column will automatically increment with each new entry. The unique constraint on the email column ensures that each email address is unique. Perfect. Please execute this query in your PostgreSQL database to create the employee table as per your requirements. Awesome. This is just perfect. All right, that's a wrap for this particular workflow. And of course, these examples that I just showed here is extremely simplified. With just 3 nodes, you can create many complex configurations right here. So if you go to Studios, let's just go there and create from template. And then again, like I discussed here, there are so many of them. And if you just create, just click on any simple one. For example, this one, text summarization workflows. Use this template, create. Look at this. This is a slightly more exhaustive version of an actual workflow. And once you have launched this pre-made template, you can select any of these nodes and change anything here. For example, say I want to change the LLM configuration. Just click here and then select this particular configuration here and change anything, temperature, top P, or whatever else you want to change. Or for example, you want to change the input variable name. Again, you click on the start here. Within the input, you click on this edit icon, and everything is for you to edit, whatever way you can customize it. And also, if you do not understand something, you can always go back to the documentation. For example, here we can see a node if else, and probably you want to know what this is all about. So just go back to the documentation page of Dify and look for the if else statement right here. So okay, I already can see it's here under your features, workflow. Then we have nodes, and these are all the different types of nodes. So we have already seen examples of starts, and then we have if else, code, template, etc. Let's just see the if else statement. All right, the if else node allows you to split a workflow into 2 branches based on if else condition. In this node, you can set one or more if conditions. When the if conditions are made, the workflow process to the next step under the is true branch. If the if conditions are not met, the workflow triggers the next step under the is false branch. So this is the image that they are showing here. Let's go back and check the actual templated implementation here. So here in this template, we are working with the text summarization workflow. And if you click here in the if else statement, you can see that is true. Under the is true condition, it will go to the knowledge retrieval node, that is this node. And that is if the condition is true. Or if it is not true, that is false, then it will go to LLM2. That is, it will come right here. So that's how it should work. Similarly, the next node after the if else is knowledge retrieval. Again, let's quickly check out the documentation where they talk about knowledge retrieval right here. So the knowledge retrieval node is designed to query text content related to user questions from the Diffy knowledge base, which can then be used as context for subsequent answers by the large language model. Configuring the knowledge base retrieval node involves 3 main steps: selecting the query variable, choosing the knowledge base for query, and configuring the retrieval strategy and selecting the query. Okay, then it goes on the details for each of them. So selecting the query variable in knowledge-based retrieval scenarios, the query variable typically represents a user's input question. In the start node of conversational applications, the system presets sys.query as a user input variable. This variable can be used to query the knowledge base for text segments most closely related to the user's question. And then choosing the knowledge base for query with the knowledge base retrieval node, you can add the existing knowledge base from Diffy. For instruction on creating knowledge base within Diffy, please refer to the knowledge base help documentation. And configuring the retrieval strategy, so Diffy offers 2 recall strategies for different knowledge base retrieval scenarios: N-choose 1 recall and multi-way recall. In the N-choose 1 mode, knowledge base queries are executed through function calling, requiring the selection of a system reasoning model. In the multi-way recall mode, a re-rank model needs to be configured for results re-ranking. For a detailed explanation of these 2 recall strategies, refer to the retrieval mode explanations in the help documentation. Okay, so I can see that Diffy supports all the latest techniques of, you can say, RAG system, RAG pipeline. So you have your N-choose 1 mode, which is based on your function calling. And then you also have re-ranking model supported. And this is a standard technique applied for any RAG pipeline. And that you have inbuilt within Diffy. Pretty awesome. And if I just click on here, that is refer to the retrieval mode explanation, I come here. So when users build knowledge base QA application, if multiple knowledge bases are associated within the application, Diffy supports 2 retrieval modes. Yeah, we already saw that. So N-to-1 retrieval based on user's intent and knowledge description, the agent independently determines and selects the most matching single knowledge base for querying relevant text. This mode is suitable for applications with distinct knowledge and smaller number of knowledge bases. N-to-1 retrieval relies on the model's inference capability to choose the most relevant knowledge base based on user input. And so to achieve the base retrieval results in this mode, you can view the system generated summary description under knowledge setting knowledge description. Perfect. And the multi-path retrieval, this is based on the user intent. This mode matches all knowledge base simultaneously, queries relevant text chunks from the multiple bases, and after a re-ranking step, selects the best results matching the user's question from the multi-path query results. And I also wanted to point out this portion of the documentation, prompting expert mode. So currently the orchestration for creating apps is set to basic mode by default. This is ideal for non-tech savvy individuals who want to quickly make an app. For example, if you want to create a corporate knowledge base chatbot or an article summary generator, you can use basic mode to design pre-prompt words, etc. However, if you surely want to design prompt in a more customized manner, that is, if you are a developer and knows a lot about prompting techniques, then there's a more expert mode. This is what that is about. So So in this mode, you are granted permission to customize comprehensive prompts rather than using the pre-packaged prompts. You can modify the built-in prompts, rearrange the placement of context and history, set necessary parameters and more. If you are familiar with the OpenAI Playground, you can get up to speed with this mode more quickly. So yeah, this expert mode looks like gives you a lot of granular control over structuring your prompt, and that's absolutely great. Yeah, these are all so many things or examples are given here. Their documentation is really awesome. It's pretty exhaustive. All right, so that was a quick introduction of Dify. Of course, there's many more things that you can do with Dify, and I definitely would suggest that go and check out and just experiment with so many tools that it provides, and then you can really see the full power of it.